60% of registered voters thought Trump would perform very or somewhat well this evening. Only 46% said the same about Biden. He has a pretty low bar to jump over. Is the White House happy about that, the campaign?
This is something that the Trump campaign has been pointing out, is that really the bar for Biden is presenting himself as someone who can command the room. He really needs to overcome some of these concerns about his age, and he needs to have sort of a State of the Union moment. We saw him have this big polling bump because he avoided gaffes or really stutters during that speech. That is something that he absolutely needs to do tonight. And there is still a small percentage of voters in those 6 or 7 swing states that we know are persuadable. We know that Biden continues to be behind in our Bloomberg News and Morning Consult polls, so he really has a lot to prove here. And I think that's why this debate is so early. They feel like there's a need to shake up the race and sort of grab some people's attention who have been tuned out and really not attracted to either two of these candidates.
Do we have any color on his time at Camp David? We saw our first images of Joe Biden stopped in the motorcade in Atlanta to shake some hands. There was a big group of supporters on the side of the road waiting for him. But we haven't seen him for days until now as he's been prepping for this moment.
Yeah, we haven't. He's been really hunkered down in Camp David. We know that he's been having informal chats with some of his top aides, Ron Klain, his former chief of staff. We know that his personal lawyer, Bob Bauer, has been standing in for Trump in sort of mock debates. So we're really going to see the fruits of whether there was actual preparation here. Trump's team, on the other hand, says he is not preparing. He's sort of walking into this as someone who's chill, very arrogant, thinks that they're going to do well tonight, but we'll see how that plays out actually today.
Fascinating. We've spent a lot of time talking about the contrast here of the preparation for these two. Bloomberg's Akayla Gardner, we thank you. As we turn now for more on former President Trump's playbook here and Bloomberg's Nancy Cook. We hear he's riffing with advisors. Nancy, he's kind of talking to friends about what to do tonight as opposed to the traditional mock debate that Akayla talks about. No murder boards for Donald Trump. What's he been doing? Is he on the phone with you?
He's not on the phone with me, but he can always call me. Trump has always hated mock debates. And, he did them in the past because his advisors convinced him that he had to. But this time he's running the show much more how he wants. And so his advisors have been scheduling these short, sort of 2-hour-long policy briefings on specific policy areas. So they've had ones on abortion and how to talk about it, immigration. Bob Lighthizer, his trade expert and former U.S. trade representative, has briefed him. Stephen Miller has been down in Florida with him this week, really sort of briefing him. And that is how he has prepared. And the interesting thing that advisors have told me is that, it's not just sort of people briefing him. It's also he likes to ask people questions as he thinks himself about how to formulate kind of one-liners and what he wants to say. I think we can expect him to really hone in on talking about immigration, the economy. I think he's going to bring up Hunter Biden and his felony conviction as well. But I think immigration and economy will be sort of the key issues that Trump where he really tries to steer the conversation.
Just quickly, Nancy, should we rule out Trump announcing his VP pick during the debate tonight?
I would be surprised if he did that, but I think if it doesn't go well, and you have to remember his first debate against Biden in 2020 did not go well, I could see him rolling out tomorrow to compensate.